Some of these old papers to bring to her school for the kids to look at, and kind of found a reversion of the eulogy that my mother wrote many years ago. It's a little longer, so bear with me. But it's well written, and I think it tells the story as long as the eulogy of John Beargrease. John Beargrease, born in 1858, died in 1910 at age 52. He worked various jobs: trapper, hunter, road construction, and of course a mail carrier. John loved fresh bear meat. He was a medicine man for the Chippewas. John is buried here in the Chippewa Cemetery. Unusually tall, John was well over 6 feet and dressed mostly in wool shirts, wool pants, mucklucks, and in the winter a heavy Northwest Company coat. He is said to be friendly and a hardy man and hard as nails. Though he died over a century ago, Beargrease is always insured musher, bib number 1, suggesting that his spirit goes forth as the starter, leading all the rest along a course that once belonged to him. John carried the mail between 1879 and 1899 from Two Harbors to Grand Marais, stopping at various places along the way, sometimes going all the way to Grand Port. John's brothers, Peter and Joseph, also carried mail from time to time, but John Beargrease was the most reliable, usually making an 80-hour-mile trek once or twice a week. Occasionally he carried mail to Grand Port. Back then there was no roads along rocky Lake Superior shoreline. Beargrease made the journey by boat, by walking, in snowshoes, and most famously, of course, with sled dogs. His fastest trip by sled dogs was 28 hours, and he once made a trip by boat in 20 hours. He was the link to the outside world. He was also their weatherman and their newscaster. Beargrease was the son of a Chippewa chief who arrived in Beaver Bay here shortly after the village was founded in 1856. John Beargrease married Louisa Wishcub and had 7 children. Frances Nancy Beargrease was the 7th child and was only 7 years old when John died in 1910. John was tall, tough, fearless as a mail carrier. The winters were hard with blizzards and snow. The summers were hard with hard rains, mud, thick underbrush, and of course wild animals. This is the fun one that I found, and maybe some of you have seen it before, but I just have to include it. The North Shore's first highway was no more than a wilderness path that wound up and down the rocky coast, across countless swamps, rivers, and streams. It was known by many names: the Shore Road, the Old Road, the Dog Trail, but perhaps the most fitting name that it was ever given was the Beargrease Trail. So I will end with losing my place. May the spirit of the great John Beargrease guide you swiftly and safely on the rest of your journey. Thank you all again for being here this